tip, if you're gonna do this on your own, like if you actually want to write on your own clothes or whatever, probably don't do it on carpet like I did. But if you have to, put a bunch of paper in between, everything between what you're writing and the floor, because if you get permanent marker on the floor, you're kind of screwed. So I want to emphasize, this is not a sponsorship or like, I don't know who made this book really, but this book right here is insane. It makes so much sense, and I highly encourage you buy it. But the main idea of this is just like, stop caring about the little things and stop letting them take over your entire life. And it makes so much sense. Like at first I was thinking that kind of a mindset might be dangerous. Like if you don't care about things, then how are you going to get things done? But it makes so much sense when you read it. Something that I think is really important to understand, and I'm very new to this idea, it's just the idea of not letting the little things that bother you consume you. Kind of embrace those things, and that's kind of where you can derive a lot of happiness from, is turning those negatives into positives. Everything worthwhile in life is won through surmounting the associated negative experience. Any attempt to escape the negative, to avoid or squash it or silence it, only backfires. And again, with those pants, if I really was so upset about those pants and I let that negativity consume me, I would have lost them. But now I have this crazy pair of pants that's just kind of fun to wear. And even beyond avoiding the negativity, in some ways you almost want to stop chasing positivity. And that might sound insanely counterintuitive, but just let me explain. When you are constantly chasing things and you're constantly trying to be a better person, you end up realizing how you're not a great person right now, and that can be demoralizing. Like people, when they look in the mirror, if you have to tell yourself you're beautiful, that means you don't feel beautiful already. If you're beautiful, you just are beautiful and you just feel it. And if you're happy, you don't have to tell yourself you're happy, you just are. There's no telling yourself and there's no chasing happiness if you're already there. So in a way, it's almost like when you're trying to do things, you're accepting the fact that you're not already there. So if you're trying to be happy and you're trying to not be sad, and you're telling yourself that you're not sad, you're really kind of on the inside admitting the fact that you are sad. But one thing in here says, ever notice that sometimes when you care less about something, you do better at it? Notice how it's often the person who is the least invested in the success of something that actually ends up achieving it. Notice how sometimes when you stop giving up, everything seems to fall into place. What's with that? And that makes so much sense if you think about it. Like, just lots of really big things were made by people who weren't even chasing them. Like Facebook was just made by Mark Zuckerberg, and I'm a little vague on this, but he was kind of just trying to make a directory of everybody at Harvard, and he wasn't trying to make a huge business. He was just kind of trying to do something fun, and he really didn't care. Like, he didn't give a about anything that had to do with business, and that all just kind of came to him when he wasn't even looking for it. So I guess the idea is, stop chasing everything that you're trying to go for so relentlessly. Keep it in the back of your mind that, like, that's what you want and that's what you want to achieve, and the law of attraction will take care of the rest.
In the New Thought philosophy, the law of attraction is the belief that positive or negative thoughts bring positive or negative experiences into a person's life. The belief is based on the ideas that...
Okay, that's enough. You get the idea. Okay, she kind of refreshed me. So the idea is that if you want something and you have it in the back of your mind that you want this, it will kind of just happen to you, and like things will just kind of come to you without you even really trying. And that's not to say don't put any effort into anything. You obviously want to. It's just stop being so relentless. And if you know that you want something, you'll find a way to do it, and it will come to you, and it will find its way to you. And that might sound a little weird or like metaphysical or whatever, but it's true. And I'm not really like a spiritual guy or like anything like that. I'm pretty grounded in like with logic. I don't really base too much on like religion or whatever, but the way that I see it is like you'll be kind of subconsciously chasing things, and I think that's kind of what the law of attraction is realistically. Like, I think in the back of your... Like, let's say you want to be an author. You might not really be pursuing it directly, but you'll know that in the back of your head you kind of want to write stuff, and you might... Am I recording? Yes. You will kind of be attracted to certain things that have to do with writing books. Like if you go to the library and you see that somebody's talking about writing books, you might be more attracted to like listen to that and learn more about actually writing stuff. Or maybe if you're going through like a newspaper and you see something about an author, and an author's talking about something and they're talking about writing and what it's like to write, you might kind of read that more. And in the background, you're kind of gaining all this knowledge about authors and how to write stuff without even really realizing it. And then eventually, you'll kind of be so good at knowing what an author's life is like and how to write things in different techniques that you collected subconsciously in the background, that all of a sudden you're kind of good at it, and like you can actually be a good author. I don't know if I mentioned this on here already, but I wrote about this in my book. It's something that Albert Einstein wrote. It's got a whole story behind it. God, I need water. There was a bellboy delivering him a message in 1940 something, I think, and you're supposed to tip them, but he didn't have any money, so he wrote him this thing, and he said, one day, if you're lucky, this might be worth some money. And it was. And it was called Einstein's Theory of Happiness. And why is my phone freezing? And this is what it said. A calm and modest life brings more happiness than the pursuit of success combined with constant relentlessness. And I think that that is very important, and that ties into everything that we're talking about right now. It's just that you cannot be relentless and just chase things all the time. And like the hustle, I've read so much about that, and like just working hard every day, all day. And it sounds promising. It sounds like if you put all this work into stuff, you must get a ton of things out of it. And that's true, but you're costing a lot of your mental health. And I think at the end of the day, you're probably going to be a lot less productive than you could be. So I'm getting way off track. But what's the point? The point is, stop caring so much about the big things and the big idea and the big goal and becoming the best person you possibly can and trying to do everything right, because it's not going to happen. You need to stop caring, stop giving up, and literally just live your life and just try to be happy. Stop focusing so hard and zeroing in on being the best possible person you can be. Because the thing is that person doesn't really exist. At least the idea that you have them set as in your mind doesn't really exist. Because there's no way to be 100% productive. There's no way to be 100% happy. It's just not a fact of life. That's just not going to happen. But you can get as close to that point as your body will let you and as your mind will let you. And I think the first step of that is kind of loosening your grip a little bit. And I know that that sounds like you're going to be less productive, or you're going to be getting less stuff done, or you're going to be less happy maybe, but you need to accept that you need to take breaks, and you need to kind of slow down sometimes and accept that some things are going to be mediocre, because not everything is going to be big and interesting. Lots of things are going to be boring, and that's a fact of life. That's never going to change. But also accept that there are big things out there that you can do. I'm not trying to just be a complete downer right now. There's so many big things that you can do. But you're not going to get there by being totally relentless. Just stop caring so much about the little things. Embrace the little things. I guess that's all. I hope you guys like this. Let me know what you think. Get this book if you like the things I'm talking about right now. It's freaking awesome. I'll see you soon.